How about a 7-day baseball diet? A brave new quick loss plan. L.A. trims that 10-game bulge to zilch. Boston Sox Exchange. More Fenway home cooking, pound by Pudge. Fat City, fat pitch. Pinstripe alterations, hard to tape measure. Gaining fast from famine. The Giants devour a plate full of ground. And heavyweight figures, Angel style. 3 a day for DeCinces. Concerned about the game of inches? Don't sweat yet. It's all sure to get reduced to child's play anyway on This Week in Baseball.
This
It started when the Dodgers invaded the home ground to sweep 4 games off that 10.5-game lead.
We're 7 games ahead on the loss side, and I know there are a lot of ball clubs. In fact, every single ball club other than ours would like to be in our place.
In past years, we've given a lot of ball games away in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, and this year we're not doing that.
Not in the first 98 games, but in the next 10, they lost 7 times in the late innings. And late-inning errors cost the Braves twice in the following series in L.A., where the Dodgers stoked up the comeback express.
Early in the year, we weren't coming back, and then consequently, we'd get 3 or 4 runs down, and it seemed like we wouldn't have the same initiative that we had in the past. But now we're getting it back, and it seems like, no lead is safe now.
They can say that again. Ron Cey, given a chance to bat in the 10th inning, thanks to a 2-out error in the 9th, which allowed the Dodgers to tie, finally won it with this sacrifice fly. A tough loss to swallow, but Joe Torre's outfit still tried its best to stay cool and not lose the aggressive edge that had the Braves so far in front a week earlier.
I think if we can keep our composure, not let the newspapers, the TV men, and all the articles reading the paper about the experienced ball clubs get a hold of it, and go out and play our own consistent brand of baseball like we have since the opening day of spring training, I think we've got a good shot at winning.
Another contest the Braves had a good shot at winning ended like this, with 2 down in the 10th. Atlanta's second error of the inning, and another Dodger victory in the bottom of the 10th after the Braves had taken the lead in the top of the 10th. Baby Blue, what do you do? In 3 games, the Dodgers actually made 9 errors to the Braves 7, but still won them all, and all in extra innings. In this case, 11th inning Mike Marshall pinch hitting. 6 all after the Braves had scored 2 in the 9th to tie, but no more. 8 straight over Atlanta in 10 days. And they didn't stop there. All of a sudden, a 10.5-game lead was gone with the wind, and the Dodgers were in first place.
When we went to Atlanta 10.5 back, we didn't listen to what the experts were saying about the season was probably over. We didn't listen to the experts last year against Houston, against the Montreal Expos, or against the New York Yankees. It's nice to have character on a ball club and not have a ball club that's just full of characters themselves.
Also, a little character was on display in San Francisco, where one ball game against the Astros serves as a giant example. An Astro homer garnered by Garner. And another long ball cruise for Jose Cruz. The Astros looked home free with a 6-0 lead in the 6th, and Nolan Ryan a-breezing. Incidentally, the Giants have been pretty hot to this point, and Frank Robinson wanted everyone to know they intended to stay hot. So did Reggie Smith, who proceeded to blast his 10th homer. And when Chili Davis followed with his 11th homer, and Jack Clark with his 21st, well, Nolan's bubble got popped. Now trailing Houston 6-3, Clark stepped up again in the 9th inning and connected once more. 6-5 now, and a most uneasy feeling for Houston's soon-to-be deposed veteran manager Bill Burton. And then one more time for Reggie Smith. Going, and it is gone. His 11th homer, and it tied the game. Finally, it was Bob Brenly on second. And Darrell Evans pinch hitting as the Giants completed the improbable comeback. And in case no one noticed, San Francisco won 9 straight and moved from 13 games out to only 5 in the rough and tumble National League West. And in the East, a little day music at Chicago's Wrigley Field, where the Cubs could finally see the light with their new tradition. Despite this from Bob Baylor and the Mets, 1 out. 2 outs. The first triple play at Wrigley Field since '65. And still the Cubs won 5-0. Ryne Sandberg helped Chicago win 6 straight, including a sweep of his former team, the Phillies, who've had no love of Ivy this season. 7 hits and 10 trips against the Phillies in the 3-game series for Sandberg. The last-place Cubs cooled off the first-place Phillies, who've now lost all 6 games this season at Wrigley Field. Jay Johnstone, who once swung a pretty mean bat for the Phillies, swung a less than amiable one against them this time. In an 8-5 victory, J.J. drove in 4 runs while crashing his 7th and 8th homers. And while the Cubs don't figure to make the stretch run for the pennant, 8 of 9 victories, including 6 straight, helped tighten up matters in the cat-and-mouse Eastern Division race. Meanwhile, the Mad Dog of Pittsburgh, the Pirates' Bill Madlock, keeps on stroking, helping the Bucs stay in the swing of contention. With a .300 average, 11 homers, 65 RBIs, and 12 game winners, manager Chuck Tanner believes the 31-year-old Madlock is having his best overall season. Quite a compliment for a man of all seasons. In 1975 with the Cubs, Madlock hit .354 to win the batting title in his 2nd big league season. And in the All-Star game that year, his bases-loaded single produced a 9th-inning victory for the National League, earning him a share of the All-Star MVP award. Another batting title followed the next year before an unexpected trade.
I think the reason I was traded because I was one of the first free agents. I was going to be a free agent that year, and Wrigley was a very conservative man, and he had a lot of great ball players, Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, and he said, I didn't pay them, I didn't give them a multi-year contract, why should I give you? And I said, fine, my bags are packed, and it doesn't bother me.
Next stop, the San Francisco Giants. 2 years in San Francisco produced 2 more .300 seasons. But all the same, Madlock was traded again, this time to Pittsburgh, where he recently was signed to a comfortable multi-year contract by a club which can appreciate a fellow always comfortable at the plate.
I just go out there and swing because the pitcher that I'm facing now, I've been facing going through the minor leagues, in the big leagues the last 10 years. So basically, they're not going to change their style for me, and I'm not going to change their style for them. So in certain situations, I know how they're going to pitch me, and I know what certain pitches they throw. So I just go up there and look for and have confidence in myself as a hitter.
With a .316 lifetime average, 3rd highest among today's veteran players, Bill has reason to be confident. Also 3 batting titles. The only active major leaguer with more is Rod Carew.
If you look over the past 6 or 7 years, you take away Pete Rose, everybody who won the batting title batted 3rd. And the reason for that, you got the fast guys in front of you that the catcher want to throw out. They're going to throw you a lot of fastball, and then you got the big thumpers behind you, like, Jason Thompson, and they don't want to walk you get on base because you look at Hernandez, Buckner, myself, Parker, Albert Rose, we all batted 3rd. We're always surrounded because when you win a batting title, you got to have a lot of guys protecting you.
In '79, Pop Stargell led Pittsburgh to the peak. Now, maybe it's Bill Madlock's turn.
when you win a World Series like we did in '79 is outstanding, and especially if we do it this year. I'm one of the veteran guys. We got a lot of young guys that look up for the veteran on team, and that'd be a rewarding right there.
And given the record, you better believe that the Mad Dog of Pittsburgh isn't just barking up a tree. The oldest player in American League history to win a home run title was also 36. Can you name this elder batsman? Stay tuned.
The fight special.
He also raised his third homer over Fenway's friendly fort. Supreme Power from Cheat Cheat, Chicago. The man more likely to pull was the Bull, Greg Luzinski. But as Emerson once said, a bullish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Or something like that. More to the point, with 10 victories in 12 games, the White Sox had found some winning consistency just when their popular manager, Tony La Russa, was in danger of being debased and replaced. And New Hampshire's favorite son, Carlton Fisk, continued to chop down his former team with 2 more long balls over his favorite wall. A .432 average against Boston this season for Fisk, and an 8-4 record over Boston for Chicago. Turning to Seattle's Magic Kingdom, Mickey and Goofy said hi, but those other stars from Anaheim, the California Angels, threw Mariner pennant hopes back towards Fantasyland. And they did it with a sweep that brought Gene Mauch's lifetime pennant dream closer to reality.
I think the team is gelling great. I think that man for man out on the field has got to be one of the best, defensively, offensively, and all around.
I'm sure this ball club is probably one of the best he's ever managed in talent-wise, and it's also probably one of the more veteran clubs he's ever managed. So basically all Gene has to do is just fill that lineup card out and watch us go play ball.
Long ball, to be precise, Mr. Gritch. In winning 9 of 13 games to hold first place, the Airborne Angels crashed 22 home runs. And good thing, too, because California's ERA took a sudden rise in the wrong direction. But Doug DeCinces kept the Angels rising in the right direction. In 10 games, DeCinces hit 11 homers and drove in 19 runs with a .513 average. Baltimore traded DeCinces partly because of back troubles, but his back now can carry the club just as Reggie Jackson can. And against Seattle with the bases loaded, Jackson carried this pitch for an air-conditioned grand slam. Circuit top number 26, helping California to an 8-run inning and a big 11-9 win. The Angels may not be getting any younger, but veterans such as pitcher Steve Renko keep doing the job. Renko raised his record to 10-3, 18-7 over the past 2 years, moving the Angels one step closer to raising the flag in the American League West. Next stop, Yankee Stadium, where a ticket today buys who knows what, maybe even a refund if the Bombers bomb out. How about a Goose Gossage strikeout to sew up Yankee win number 7,000? By the way, Goose is one of 5 players left from the Yankee '78 Miracle team. Not that a ticket can't conjure up the past. Remember number 9, Roger Maris? And how about number 7, Mickey Mantle? Yankee fans sure did at the old-timers game. Memories of power, splendor, and grace. And number 5, Jolt and Joe DiMaggio. And for Met fans who remember Lee Mazzilli, well, he's a Yankee now. And don't forget that La Lob is back in town. Compliments of Dave LaRoche, recalled from the minors for the 4th time. Got a new manager, too.
I think this is my 4th job this year. I've always tried to do what Mr. Steinbrenner has asked me. And so far, up to this point, thank God, it's been fairly successful.
From Clyde King to the king of swing, pinch hitter Terry Crowley of the Baltimore Orioles, batting in the bottom of the ninth, and it's going, and it is gone. A grand slam for Crowley to beat Kansas City. His 101st career pinch hit. In Cleveland, it was Paul Molitor in the ninth. Milwaukee trailing 6-5, 1 man on, 2 down, and downtown she goes. A 2-run homer for Molly and a 7-6 victory for the first-place Brewers. The one and only Babe Ruth won 12 American League home run crowns, the last coming in 1931 when he hit 46 at the age of 36, the oldest home run king in American League history. Cy Williams won a National League crown at the still older age of 39, but at any age, few were ever as young at heart as the Babe. He was clearly baseball's greatest showman as well as baseball's greatest slugger, and sometimes even his own greatest audience.
Thank you, Justice Man.
Every center. What kind of game is this? Well, it's one that's filled with timeouts, pregnant pauses, and moments often empty-handed. Okay, Mr. Rangers stranger, so where's the ball game? Oh, yes, of course. Now, back to feeding the Green Monster at Boston's Fenway Park. Again, the monster regurgitates. Frustration? Hey, that's the name of the game. Name game? There's a name. Now, Reggie, what's this, a guessing game? For shame on you. For shame. But remember, persistence must overcome resistance. How about that? Thank you, Green Monster. Now, anyone for baseball? For lovely as the Swan, the plays must go on. Flying in from first base, Pete Rose, Philadelphia. Swooping across second, Willie Randolph, New York Yankees. And diving down from third, Cincinnati's Ron Oster. More swan dives, Tim Flannery, San Diego. Carl Yastrzemski, Boston. Greg Neville, New York Yankees. Mookie Wilson, New York Mets. Kansas City's Willie Wilson. The White Sox, Rudy Law. The Braves, Dale Murphy. Dusty Baker of the Dodgers. Once of the Mets, Joel Youngblood. Doug DeCinces, California. Ozzie Smith, St. Louis. And for Craig Swan and the Mets, it's Mookie Wilson on the wing again. Say hey, Mookie. Now, Joel Youngblood's New York Swan Song, or Tale of Two Cities. As a Met, Youngblood went 1 for 2 against the Cubs in Chicago, also collected a couple of RBIs. But before the game was over, Blood was scratched from New York's lineup and added to Montreal's, thanks to a quick trade. There, he promptly delivered a hit for the Expos and became the first player to get a hit in 2 cities on the same day. Doug DeCinces, recipient of this week's Gillette Special. 3 homers in one game against the Mariners and also 3 in another game against the Twins. The first player ever to hit 3 homers twice in 1 week. In fact, Ted Williams was the only American leaguer to do it twice in the same year.
I think when people are pleased, it breeds confidence, and it creates more confidence with myself, and I'm much more relaxed, I feel, playing here. And, you know, when you're a relaxed ball player, maybe you produce a little bit better. And it's enjoyable. I've really enjoyed the transition and enjoyed playing for the Angels.
Okay, and congratulations, Doug. That's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.